So you've heard about this thing called the 6 foot track ultramarathon. And you thought, yeah, I want to do that one. And then you trained hard and got a qualifier at an approved trail or road event. And then you realised you weren't guaranteed an entry and had to try and get in via the lottery process. And then you got in via the lottery process and had to remember you only had a certain time to register to hold your spot. Otherwise your spot goes to someone else in the second lottery. And then you read the fine print and found out that you have to finish in under 7 hours or it doesn't count as a finish in what usually takes hikers 3 days to do. So you're telling me if I don't do under 7 hours, that doesn't classify as finishing?
You serious?
Yes, I'm serious. Welcome to the 6 foot track ultramarathon. Skipp Phoenix. I was one of the official 7-hour wave pacers in the 2023 6 foot track ultramarathon. This short video today will be one in a series that is going to cover the whole distance of the 6 foot track ultramarathon from Explorers Tree, which is way back up there, out to Janolan Caves, as well as the current 4 kilometre diversion through the pine forest. Today we'll show you some of the terrain, a breakdown of this section, some ideas of how to deal with the elevation, and today's section we're going to cover is from Megalong Road to Allum Creek, which is 14 kilometres in total. So that will get you from the 8 kilometre mark out to the 22 kilometre mark. This is the Megalong Road crossing, which is 8 kilometres into the 45 kilometre distance. This is an area that you'll usually end up having some onlookers to cheer you on, but there's no crew for the entirety of this race, but there is a timing mat here. This next 14 kilometres is a combination of wide trail and also technical single trail. The technical single trail is roughly about 10 k's into the race, which is 2 kilometres from here, and will then be that last 5.5 k's down to Cox's River, which is down to 15.5 kilometres. Then you have the iconic river crossing, so don't forget to smile on the way out of that because there's usually a camera on the other side. Once through the river, it's then wide fire trail all the way up until you hit the Caves Road crossing towards the back end of the event. To stick under 7-hour pace, the average pace required from the Megalong Road crossing to the Cox's River is around about 8:45 per kilometre. Based on that, that should get you down to the river in under 2 hours 10. That's assuming you've left the Megalong crossing in 1 hour and 4. From here down to the river, you'll also have a 300 metre elevation drop. In this section between Megalong and the river, there are 2 aid stations, one at the Megalong Road crossing and one approximately 10 kilometres in near the winery. If you do get a chance to stop and you're a little bit ahead of schedule, definitely take in the view. And be careful of the horses in the paddock. A couple of years ago, one of them was a little bit cranky. Apart from the descent down Nellies Glen, this section down to the river also requires the most concentration in terms of your foot placement. The single technical trail from 10 kilometres in down to the river has a wide variety of options for you to trip on if you're not paying attention, including rocks, some stairs, tree roots, and some more rocks. So having some single trail practice before 6 foot will be handy. And my best suggestion is that if someone is on your hammer on race day and wants to pass on your right, just let them pass, let them go through. You're better off letting them through than feeling pressured to go on at a pace that you're not comfortable with, or it's going to increase the likelihood of you tripping. Welcome to the other side of the river. Now, depending on how much rain we've had before the event, the depth of this river crossing will vary. In the times I've done this event, the depth has varied from knee height to needing to swim across in 2021. For those playing along at home, I'm not what will be classified as tall, so maybe I was just unlucky with needing to swim. Once you cross the river, you'll hit one of the other major aid stations, as well as passing over a timing mat. It is likely that you'll pick up some gritty sand travelers in your shoes. There are usually buckets at the aid station to wash your shoes out, so if you feel inclined due to picking up rocks or gritty sand, wash them out. But my tip is, unless you have a rock or rocks that you can actually feel, just keep going. This is because you will literally have to cross additional creeks within 1 kilometre of leaving this aid station, and then multiple others before the Pluvy climb. This is where it comes in handy in general to carry blister pads just in case you start to feel an extra passenger in your shoe giving you grief. The average pace from here at the river to the Allum Creek aid station at 22 kilometres is an average of about 10 minutes, 20 a k. This includes the 4.5 kilometre climb up Mini Mini at an average pace of about 11:20, and then the 2 kilometre downhill at an average pace of about 7. This should have you at Allum Creek in a time of under 3 hours 17 to be ahead of the 7-hour wave paces. The elevation gain from here up to the top of Mini Mini up to the saddle is about 420 metres in the 4.5 k's, and you then drop 150 metres over the next 2 k's down to Allum Creek. Once you cross the river with the checkpoint at 15.5, between there and Allum Creek, there's only one more checkpoint on the Mini Mini climb, and that's at the Lemon Tree Yards, about 18.6 kilometres in. The next one after that is Allum Creek, which is at 22. Make sure you use the aid station wisely, especially on this climb, because if it's a bit warm and in the mornings like it is today, you have the sun on your back and there's not much cover, so you're fairly exposed. So make sure you look after your hydration. That sign will be one of the highlights on your race day. This means you're 20 kilometres in. It also means you're at the top of the Mini Mini climb. Now you've got roughly 2 kilometres of downhill to Allum Creek. So unlike the climb that we've still got to do on Pluvy, the section from Cox's River out to the base of Pluvy does have some downhill sections, and that's where a training strategy of efficient uphill hiking and then starting to run is a great way to pick up some time. Being able to get your legs going again after the long climbs will give you a greater chance of moving at a pace that's faster than the 7-hour guideline. Also remember that unlike UTA, there are no hiking poles allowed in the 6 foot track ultramarathon, if you get caught using them, you probably will be disqualified. Actually, not probably, you will be. So just don't bring them. For those amongst us that like a little bit of background noise, other than the natural ones out here on the trail, headphones are allowed after the Cox's River crossing. If you do opt to use headphones though, you need to be especially careful, because from the Cox's River until virtually the finish line, you need to be mindful of support vehicles going in either direction. Alright, here we are on race day at what would be the Allum Creek aid station. We're 22 kilometres in, and we're about half a kilometre from where the Pluvic line starts. Well, I hope that's given you a good quick overview of the section from the Megalong road crossing at 8 kilometres out here to the Allum Creek aid station at 22 kilometres, showing some of the terrain, some general information on aid station locations, and some pre-race tips to help on race day. The old efficient hiking and then running after the top of the hill. Keep an eye out for videos that will cover the other sections of the 6 foot track. This includes the start line at Nellies Glen down to the Megalong road crossing, from here at Allum Creek out to the end of the Black Range at the Pine Forest, and then from the Pine Forest through to the finish line. I'm Skipp Phoenix. Stay safe, and wherever you're running, make sure you enjoy yourself. Anyone know where the nearest coffee is? Probably not going to get one here, am I?